Anymore heal. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnnie's Bite. It's Juma Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. We're wrapping up a full week of work, and tomorrow, hopefully, and God willing, we shall congregate on the holy grounds at the Diasi Academy to celebrate another anniversary of Accra Academy. Blow. So you are invited. Boys will be here later today. Now, I've been thinking since it's been more than 2 weeks, or just around 2 weeks, since the Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Police Service, you remember, they went out onto the streets, arrested the black market guys, and they said it was one of the reasons, the distress action that they are taking to bring back the strength of the city. The same city that had been arrested and the keys given to the IGP Apietu as part of a 100-day achievement that was announced by Dr. Baumia. The city has now become, the dollar has now become a fugitive. So now we have to send police and Bank of Ghana to go and start arresting people. 76 of them were arrested and paraded. And I remember I asked the question, I said, look, Guta had said that there are people within the Bank of Ghana who are connected to this. And that sometimes when they bring the dollar notes or the foreign currency, you see Bank of Ghana strips on it. Guta said it. That people are complicit. That people are complicit even in the commercial banks. Guta made that known to us as well. To what extent has the Bank of Ghana investigated those issues? And what has been their response since they investigated those issues? Because the truth of the matter, as I said earlier, is that if there's a threshold of $10,000 per day for everybody, and I want to import goods worth $60,000, and the bank can only give me $10,000, but I'm able to do my $60,000 transaction anyway, how did I get the $50,000 to add to my $10,000 to make a $60,000 transaction? That is the question, and we must follow the money. So yes, we arrested 76 of them, most of them foreigners. And I said again that these foreigners may not necessarily, these black market guys may not necessarily be the ones who have the money. Follow them. Ask the bigger questions. Who gave them the money to be on the street? So we arrested 76 of them. 2 weeks on, what has been the next move? We're still talking to the IMF. When is the Bank of Ghana going to do the next arrest? And when is the Ghana going to be introspective about their own selves? Daniel, let's see the exchange rate. And we were told that, when the $750 million comes in, we will be fine. The CD will show up again. The money has come, right? That's what we are told. But the dollar is still galloping. The CD is still being beaten to pulp. We are leading a conversation at the IMF. We are a proud nation. We will not go to the IMF. We are a proud nation. We will not go to the IMF. He is the one leading the conversation at the IMF. So IMF has finished its 2 weeks. Now, we're going out there. We are a proud nation. We won't go to IMF. We are a proud nation. We won't go to IMF. We have not been apologized to after that statement was made. Even on the floor of Parliament, that same statement was made by my own namesake. And then the deputy minister also said that, when we go to IMF, it is the small boys that they will send. Nobody in government has found it dignifying enough and worthy enough to apologize to us for those statements they made. We are a proud nation. We will not go to IMF. Today we are at IMF, and we are even going back to the IMF proper after they've come to us to speed up the process of trying to get the program. Because, the danger is that if we don't, Parliament may not resume when they said they would resume. I think they're supposed to resume this week or next week. But if Parliament does not find money, they may not come back. Because if Parliament owes ECG, and Parliament is not a profit-making organization, if Parliament owes ECG, ECG will not say it is the government of Ghana that owes it. ECG will say it is Parliament that owes it. And we will say Parliament to sumu diskamuntia. Because Parliament is not a profit-making organization. So the government has to find money for Parliament to come back Question, does the government have the money for Parliament to come back? That's the first question. Question number 2, if Parliament doesn't come back and then it delays, the budget for 2023 will be hanging. We are a proud nation. We will not go to IMF. Nobody has apologized to us for that comment. Even that what was captured in the Hansard, nobody from the finance ministry, from the side of government, none of the communicators has apologized to us as a people that we told you that we will not take you here, now you are there. We are in the ditch. We are in a junk status. According to the Bank of Ghana, our total debt stock as of July is 402 billion. I don't want to shock you how much that contributes or that makes of a total of our GDP. 402 billion cedis. That's how much we have borrowed. We are a proud nation. We will not go to IMF. I said nobody has apologized for it. And you see, when you want to win people's trust, when you want to win people's confidence, when you want to win people's support, when you want to win by people's goodwill, when you want people to come to the table and to the center with you to move an agenda and to progress, you have to be candid and honest enough. Nobody feels humble enough in government to apologize to the people of Ghana, from president right down to the last man, that what we said to you, that we are a proud nation, we will never go to IMF, we are not going to the IMF, all of those conversations that were said, because the IMF money is not free. Whatever is going to be contracted at the IMF is not free. We will pay for it. We will pay it back with interest. So now the conversation is this. If you told us as leaders and you asked us to trust you, we will not go to IMF, and which is why you brought the obnoxious e-levy. The e-levy that is now being charged on just any transaction at all. First, we were told that, it's up to 100 cedis, a threshold of 100 cedis. Now people are complaining that even when they send 30 cedis, 25 cedis, they are being charged e-levy. And nobody again is explaining. Then they said, if you link your accounts and we can identify that it's your account and you send 100 cedis, you'll not be charged. But people are being charged for it and nobody is explaining. Nobody is apologizing. And we were told that, if we get the e-levy, we won't go to IMF. Now we are still at the IMF and we are still collecting e-levy. Nobody is apologizing for it. And in the meantime, the toll booths that could have given us money by some whatever ill-thought idea and ill-thought decision, we decided to close them down. So money that we could have gotten for the full year of 2022, we have lost it based on ego and emotions. Papacracy. These small boys. That's how they think. Papacracy. Small boys. Minim, dwacracy, ahumaksocracy, enumdwacracy, ahantancracy. Nobody has apologized to us. And you see, sometimes I think that politicians on both sides of the divide forget that they are first of all servants of the people. I'm looking at Nanado, 2016, riding a Willowbrook. You know that when you go to Kaneshi, there's vehicles that move from Circle to Kaneshi to Circle, Nkrumah Circle, and back. They call it Willowbrook buses. Nanado rode in a Willowbrook bus because at the time the conversation around him was that this is an elite and he cannot come down to the level of the people. Then he told us about Swalaba, where he was born. He told us about Nima, where he was born, and how he had hobnobbed with people, how he used to play football and all of that. Nanado was drinking Calipo. He was eating with the masses, Ampesi, Banku, everything. The pictures are there, the videos are there. And then we bought into the idea that this is a man who is still at the top but can come down to the people. Today when we talk, the president doesn't listen to us. When we tell the president that some of your ministers are tired, let them go, he says, they are the best of the best. I remember that film from my childhood days. It was a Van Damme movie also, best of the best. Ministers are tired. He says, they are the best of the best. The same person who will beg that 3 times to say, submission. When you now tell him that, boss, how you are going about it, that's not how we want to run it. Because our debt stock now is 402 billion under the president, under the vice president, under the same set of ministers, the same set of public sector CEOs who we say are performing excellently. Then when we say, oh, swap your ministers, say, oh, no, they are performing well. Then he will meet with state-owned enterprises bosses who are declaring losses. And then he will tell them that things must change. But he is not willing to change the people. Boss, you want them to change things, but you are not willing to change them. How will things change? And remember, boss, I told you when Coach Otuado, he made us all happy the very first time. I said something to you. Maybe you have forgotten. I'll remind you, said. I said, Coach Otuado, it's called Ado. You, Nanado Bosu, you are also called Ado. You see the way Coach Otuado, he made strategic changes to bring us the victory that we all celebrated, that you were happy and said you will not let him go. You are also Mr. Ado. You have a lot of your good players on the bench. Why are you not substituting them? Like Coach Otuado. President, be like Coach Otuado. Do some substitution. Because majority of the people you have put there, look, and check what? Abena Sari, the Deputy Minister for Finance, she made a very frantic point. She said, up until when you met the state-owned enterprise bosses who had been declaring losses year on year since you put them there in 2017, losses, only losses. She said that some of them have even refused to present their fully audited account. They are fully refused to, and that's an infringement of the Financial Management Act. But guess what? Check the ages of the people at those places. Some 67, some 72, some 68, some 65, some even inching towards 80. Check the ages. And then you will come back and ask me, if that were your private business, Bosu, would you put the caliber of people you have put at these places to be managing them, declaring losses, and yet you are sticking to giving them everything, all the perquisites, their allowances, their fat salary? Some take up to 80,000 a month, 60,000 a month, 75,000 a month. They take home. I don't know how many nurses that can employ. 75,000, 60,000. I don't know how many teachers that can employ. I don't know how many young people you can take off the road. And yet your unemployment rate is going up. And the people are not showing working. They are not delivering. And you are keeping them there. You call them to a meeting to say, I've given you 1 month ultimatum. And that you have to find a corporate. The Auditor General has done all of that work already. And Mr. President, did I hear you say that the board chairman should stop interfering in the day-to-day activities of the state-owned enterprises? But boss, you and Professor Ajiman, you led the charge as board chairman and board chairman's boss in meddling in the affairs of Mr. Domelova, the audit service. You led into which led to a sack. You led into it. What was he investigating? Kroll. Who was connected to Kroll? And suddenly when he left Kroll, you started it. You showed them the templates, Mr. President. If you want things to change, please listen to the people. The people are not happy with you. Your own people within your party, sir, respectfully, are not happy with you. Your own party people, they meet us and they complain to us bitterly. And I'm saying that be like Ochotuado. You have a lot of good materials on the bench. Somebody has been at one post for 6 years and they have nothing to show for it. 6 years. They have not declared profit once in Po. And you're still keeping them there. 6 years. They are just employing. I'm told they are just employing anybody. Oh, me wafasi no, me wafasi no, me nana no. They are just employing them whether they are qualified or not. They are just padding the place. But you told us, boss, that you will protect the public purse. Is this your best template in protecting the public purse? The people are not happy with you. Look at the dollar rate. It's gone past 10. Look at the pound. Look at the euro. Are you proud of yourself? And you see, sometimes the explanations that you give, whether they're written as speeches or whether you say them yourself, also, sometimes it doesn't listen well. When you fail, You apologize, admit and apologize for the failure. You don't fail, try to admit it, not apologize, and suggest other ways that you could solve your failure. You must first of all admit that I have failed. What a solid economic management team is now supervising dollar rate of what? And all we say is Russia, Ukraine, COVID, and this. Are we the only country in the world? Food is so expensive. Fuel is so expensive. Water is so expensive. Electricity is so expensive. Cost of living is so expensive. Transport is expensive. School fees is expensive. I know a friend of mine, he says his school does not call him or text him to ask for school fees. These days they call. International school, they text to ask for school fees. Because Anya in a class of maybe 14 or 15, maybe 10 parents can pay immediately, and then the other 4, they will give them some time. But now they send text message at the beginning of every term that challenge school fees time. 2 weeks time they remind them. Kromaya shit. So it's not time for English. We have got enough English from free SHS. We've got enough English from everyday English on GBC. 5:45 every Wednesday, 5:45 a.m. I used to listen to that. Mr. President, show working. Sack those you have to sack. Reshuffle those you have to reshuffle. Listen to the people. Listen to the people. Good morning.